I'm Kirsten Greene, and I'm the Deputy Director at DLCD, the Department of Land Conservation and Development. What we haven't done well historically or institutionally is, as a state, is to make sure that urban development benefits populations that aren't white. So we've had, as you know, institutional and structural racism in our state, and it's quite a long climb to reverse that, but we're dedicated to doing so. Part of the reason I'm so excited about the statewide health improvement program is the focus on data, because I think it is our starting place. When I read, the words on the implementation strategies of equity and justice, they just sound so true for us, requiring state agencies to commit to racial equity in planning, policy, agenda, performance metrics, and investment to Black, Indigenous, and people of color. That's very central to our approach, so we feel very well aligned. Affordable housing, you may know that we have a major initiative in that, House Bills 2001, 2003 from the 2019 session. Those were House Speaker Kotek's bill requiring more housing choice and supply across Oregon. Under the healthy communities, there's the indicator that says center BIPOC communities in decision making about land use planning and zoning. This was something that was on my mind first thing this morning, and centering BIPOC communities in decision making. So what does that look like? We've been able to stipend community members, as I know OHA does, to help inform the work of the RAC, but that does seem to me to be a little bit of business as usual. And so how do we provide it's a little better than business as usual, but it's still, sort of a, white culture dominant frame, but inviting other folks to the table for limited time to speak. So it's a step forward, and we learn a lot. We've learned a lot about houseless community members through that process. We've kept, being able to center the fact that so many Oregonians are without shelter, without homes. So that's effective, but how do we educate ourselves and our committee members as we're setting policy, and our commissioners know as well, sort of extemporaneously, but how do we provide the data and the common landing point to know that, okay, these are the inequities and here's how we're going to start to reduce them. So looking for just different ways, whether it's workshops or panels or informations or dialogues to help just our committee members and our staff and our commissioners understand the disparities now, and so that we can work to start to address them and reduce them in a meaningful way over time. The right vertical climb to do on equity, coming out of a problematic past as a state, and even a land use planning program is complicit in that. Serving homeowners and not attending to tenants as much, for example. I would just say join the journey. We're all in it together, and it's going to be each step at a time. We know there's no magic solution. And I think learning from each other is probably the most powerful part.